Good morning, and welcome to our Rise and Shine Gentle Yoga practice this morning. Hopefully there's a few of you out there with me. If you're not in person right now, don't worry, you can always click on the video once it's shared to our page, and you can most definitely pick the practice up when it better suits your schedule. So I've been spending my mornings often doing a little bit of reading in some of my yin yoga books, learning a little bit more about yin yoga, which is really the counterbalance to a more yang or dynamic flowing practice. Yin is all about the stillness. And I think in the moment we are in, taking opportunity to find a little bit of stillness, to find a little bit of time for solitude is really important. And that kind of leads me to where I want us to enter in with our practice today. And the theme of my practice is called Readiness to Receive. And I think as people in the society we live in the culture that we exist in, giving ourselves permission to receive is often not the first thing on our minds. We are more often comfortable in the giving part of the equation, balancing out the giving and receiving. We are more comfortable there because that feels like an area of strength, perhaps. I do want us to reflect on just this moment and how challenging it is at times to not be able to do what we normally are used to doing. Finding a way to be okay with that, first of all, is important, and then looking for the blessings that exist in that particular opportunity. So, readiness to receive. The quote I came across this morning as I was reading is, "Clay is molded into vessels, and because of the space where there is nothing, you can carry water. Space is carved out from a wall, and because of that place where there is nothing, you can receive light. Be empty, and you will remain full." I think that that's an important thing, right? We need to take some time to fill ourselves up, to replenish our resources so that when the moment is right, we have something to give back. If we continue to tap into our resources and use them all up, we don't have anything when it's time for us to be called upon to give back out. So I'd encourage you this morning to just take some good care of yourself. We're going to have a nice gentle practice. I want us to explore the idea of creating space with our breath, allowing ourselves to remain completely focused on this present moment as it arises for each of us, and to just accept it as it is. No need to change what is arising, just allow it, notice it, and accept it. Wonderful. So if you're joining me this morning, we're going to start seated. So make yourself comfortable on your mat. I like to have a cushion because really and truly it is about finding comfort and ease in every position. So a little cushion helps to elevate my hips, which allows my pelvis to come into a more neutral position, which then just creates ease and comfort in my body. So go ahead and get comfortable, seated on your mat, and allow yourself a moment or two to get in touch with that which is tangible, so your body. So notice your body right now as you've arrived here in this space. Notice where you're holding on to tension and tightness. Become aware of the level of comfort just as you sit on your mat. And if it's uncomfortable, go ahead and change it until you find a place where there is more ease, where there is more comfort. So seated might be comfortable for you, laying on your back might be comfortable for you, especially because we're not in the same space together. Go ahead and find what works best for you right now. And then when you're ready, close your eyes. begin to draw your attention, your awareness, and your focus more inward so that we move from the tangible to the internal, to what we can't see. We seek to balance, really and truly, our whole self, our bodies, but also our minds and our spirits. And then perhaps the experience we can have as we move about our day to day is that there's a sense of connection, a connection of what we are externally to how we're feeling internally. And we're going to do that by moving and being aware of our breath. So allowing our eyes softly closed, finding a way into a comfortable seated position, bringing our heart over our hips, our head over our heart, maybe lifting those shoulders up to our ears and then releasing those shoulder blades down our back. Allow our rib cage and our shoulders to rest above our hips so that there's no need for muscular tension, just to be seated. Find a way to sit comfortably and alert, but without that sensation of tension or feeling rigid as we are seated. Good. Noticing the space today that we're creating in our bodies with our breath. Allow your awareness to sink into your lower belly. Notice now the rhythm of your own breath. Feel each rise and fall of the inhalation and the exhalation. Give yourself permission not to change anything in this moment. Just simply notice and accept the breath as it is. Now allow your awareness to broaden. Notice other sensations in your body, that which is tangible. Become aware of the earth beneath you. Maybe all of the points of your back side of your body if it's touching the ground, or your sit bones if they're resting on the earth. And with your eyes closed, be aware of the space above you. Draw attention to the temperature of the air that surrounds you. Is it cool in the space you're in? Is it a little bit warm in the space you're in? Notice without judgment. Simple awareness. Now feel the sensation of your clothing touching your skin. Perhaps notice any sounds in your space or just outside of your space. And then when you're ready, check in with your heart and notice what's arising there, again without judgment. And as we prepare for this practice today, let's remain aware of our present experience with a simple acceptance. Good, so take a nice deep breath now. Still the eyes are softly closed. Breathe deeply into your body. And on the exhale, release all of that air. Good, and again, inhaling, bringing the breath deep into the body and allowing the belly to expand in all directions. And then exhaling and releasing the breath. Good, just one more time, a nice deep inhale, filling the body with breath. And exhaling and completely emptying and then holding the breath out. Noticing how it feels to be empty. And then resume your breath, natural, steady and smooth. Slowly open our eyes. Good, so through our practice today, let's let go of any sense of competition, any sense of even expectation. Sometimes if we set an expectation to have a a good or a great practice, that can be counterproductive. So simply move into your practice today, letting whatever arise, moving intuitively, listening to your breath, and staying in touch with the sensation of your body. Good. So let's take our hands out by our sides. Take a moment to rearrange our bodies again, coming back to a more neutral spine position. Heart over the hips, head over the heart, lifting the shoulders up, releasing those shoulders down the back. Tiptoe your fingers out to the sides and open up the chest. So gently draw the shoulder blades on the back side of the body. Good. Find a little length in the spine. Very nice. So we're not changing anything really. We're just coming into a space of alignment and awareness. Now, let's start to move a little bit to open up and relax those shoulders, or ease some tension from that neck and that upper back and the shoulder area. Real area of tightness for me personally. So now, when we're ready, inhaling, floating the arms to shoulder height. Exhaling, let's bring those forearms to touch. Inhale, reach up and look up. Exhale, heels of the hands behind the head, stretch up, lifting the elbows, stretching those triceps. Wonderful. Inhale, reaching up, looking up, and exhale, raining those fingertips down. I love this little sequence. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, forearms come to touch. Inhale, reach up and look up. Heels of the hands behind the head again. Lift the elbows, stretch, side bodies, triceps. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, rain those fingertips down. And again, inhale. And now exhale. Inhale, follow the breath. And exhale. Good, inhale up. Exhale, rain the fingers down. We're going to bring the hands right behind the hips. Point the fingers towards the glutes. Draw those shoulder blades together. Lift the heart gently. Look forward or release head and neck back if it feels all right. So again, notice what is a good place for your gaze to be. Does it feel good to gaze forward? Is it all right to release back? Very nice. Slowly coming back, seated nice and tall. Lift those shoulders up, roll those shoulders back and down, lengthen the spine. Tuck that tummy in just a little bit. And we're going to move through just a nice gentle twist. So right hand behind the hip, left hand to the outside of the thigh. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, and a gentle turn. So without forcing the twist, simply arriving in a good space. Think steadiness and ease in all of our postures. So we're going to hold this rotation and we're going to shift our gaze gently now. Slowly bringing that gaze over past that left shoulder, just to change that experience in the neck a little bit. Good, slowly rotating all the way back. Inhale, lift, and exhale back to center. We're changing sides. Left hand behind the hip, right hand to the outside of the thigh. Lengthen, sitting tall. Exhale with the turn, allowing the gaze to be the last thing that moves. Again, without forcing, simply allowing, simply receiving. Now, keeping all of the length in the spine, gently shift the gaze over past that right shoulder. Always aware that if it doesn't feel good, if it's not a good sensation, we shift our gaze gently back. Good, sitting up tall and slowly rotating, gazing towards the left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, center. Awesome. Lift those shoulders up, back, and down. Lengthen the spine. Let's switch the cross of our ankles. Oh, I never like to do that. It's always just a little uncomfortable. Okay. Again, sitting in our simple cross-legged pose, knowing that you can change it if it's uncomfortable for you. You could go into hero pose if you prefer. We're going to just do a gentle cat and cow now. So hands resting lightly on the knees or the thighs. As we exhale, think about tucking that tailbone, rounding the back, and tucking the chin. And as we inhale, let's lift up and open the chest. Exhale, tucking and rounding. And inhale, lifting up and opening. Beautiful. Exhale, tucking and rounding. That should feel really good for your spine. Inhale, lifting up and opening. One more time. Exhaling, tucking and rounding. And inhale, lifting up and opening. Very nice. Exhale, tuck and round. Let's come back to cat. I always get a little confused. Good, sit up nice and tall. Take those hands out by the sides, roll those shoulders back and down, lengthen the spine. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, right hand down. So we're gonna do a little bit of lateral movement here. So hinging at that right elbow, reaching over to that right side, and then inhaling, sitting up tall, and exhaling. So again, just think about floating in and out with your breath, inhaling up and exhaling down. Awesome, inhaling up and exhaling down. Good, inhaling up and exhaling one more time, reaching a little bit more to the side wall. Take a moment to look up towards the ceiling again, just a little bit of rotation for the neck. Breathe into the space along that left side body. And then slowly shift your gaze down to your mat and bring your left hand to the outside of your right thigh, sitting up nice and tall in this space now. You're going to take your right hand, reach it up and reach it forward. Good. Inhale up, exhale, that right hand comes behind your hip. Inhale up, exhale, reach it forward. Inhale up and exhale down. Good. Inhale up and exhale, reach it forward. Inhale up and exhale down. Beautiful. This time, inhale up and bring it all the way across. And as you bring it all the way across, then your body rotates forward. Notice that your elbows are crossed. Hinge forward at your hips and reach for opposite shoulders. And then sit up nice and tall. Roll those shoulders back and down so that there's space in between your ears and your shoulders. Now lift those elbows to shoulder height. And if it's all right, open up into eagle arms. So noting areas of tension or tightness. For me, this is a little bit tight in my right shoulder, but I'm going to stay here and breathe, sending breath into that tight space. Allow your focus to remain forward, your shoulders to be soft and away from your ears, your elbows to be about shoulder height. Give yourself a little hug, reaching for opposite shoulders, and know that you could always stay here if you need to. Good, and then sweep your arms back behind you, fingertips point towards the hips, lift up and open the chest, gaze forward or release back. Good, slowly come back forward, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders up, back and down, heart over the hips, head over the heart. Inhale, both hands up, and exhale, left hand down. So now coming to that lateral movement on the other side of our body. So exhale as we hinge, softening that left elbow. Inhale as we come up. Exhale as we hinge, and inhale up, just moving with that breath. Exhale as we hinge, inhale up. And one more time, exhale as we hinge. Let's hold right here. So find a little bit more length from your fingertips to your armpit, from your armpit to your hip. Good, looking up if it's all right. Sending breath into the ribs. Now slowly bringing your gaze to the mat and bringing that right hand to the outside of the left thigh. You're going to take your left hand behind you, sit up now, and inhale up, exhale, reaching across and forward. Inhale up, exhale, left hand behind the hip. Inhale up, exhale, inhale up, and exhale down. Two more like that. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Maybe one more. Inhale and exhale. Awesome. So now we have the hands on either side of the thighs. The elbows are crossed in front of our body. We're going to hinge forward, reach for opposite shoulders, sit up tall, roll those shoulders back and down, lift the elbows to shoulder height. And then again, if it's all right with our bodies, opening up into eagle arms. You know, you can always stay just with your hands resting or reaching for the back side of your body. Good, a few breaths here as we stretch that upper back. Very nice. Slow, smooth, steady breath. Good. Now, unwinding, give yourself a little hug again. And then sweep your hands behind your back, fingertips point towards the hips, opening up that chest. Give yourself a little bit of a chest expansion here. Good. And slowly release. Very nice. We're going to go ahead and bend our knees in front of us. I'm going to move my cushion out of my way and take my hands behind my back. Feet out wide, and just for a moment or two, tick-tock those knees or windshield wiper the knees from side to side. A little bit of movement with the hips, working on that external and internal hip rotation, just nice and gentle. Awesome. And when we come all the way over to the right, let's go ahead and drop the knees, and then come to a seated position. Now you should be facing the short side of your mat on the right side. I want you to think about lengthening your spine, tiptoeing the fingertips forward, coming down onto your forearms. We're just going to stay here for a few moments in this variation of a deer twist. So again, allowing ourselves to accept whatever arises in each moment. As we move through a more gentle practice, often there's thoughts that enter our minds somewhat uninvited, and that's okay. Acknowledge, accept, and then release the thought. Return your attention and your focus back to your breath. Let's just stay here for one more full breath in through the nose and out. Making sure that before we move, we've engaged our core muscles as we lift our torso off the mat. Coming back, facing the long edge of our mat again, and then dropping the knees side to side. Windshield wipers or tick-tocking the knees, just nice and gentle. And the next time we come over to the left, arranging ourselves so that we can make our way into our deer twist over here. So sitting or coming up tall spine, bringing our body forward and down onto our forearms. So feel that rotation in the lower back. The chest and the shoulders are parallel to the floor, and with my forearms on the mat, kind of like I would in Sphinx pose, I have a nice base of support. So I'm just going to stay here, again, observing the body, which is tangible, and the breath, which is hidden. Good, just one more breath right here. Re-engaging those core muscles, pressing ourselves back up. We're going to go ahead and come into a tabletop position. So sweeping those legs to the back of our mat, tabletop position. Again, maybe just moving a little bit through cat and cow. Wake up the spine, get it moving. Notice that the wrists are under the shoulders, the knees are under our hips, the shoulders are away from our ears, and our core is engaged. We're going to lift the hips, drop the belly, lift the gaze, inhale. Tuck the tailbone round the back, tuck the chin, and exhale. Follow that breath again. Inhaling, lifting up and opening. Exhaling, tucking and rounding. Good. A few more times at your own pace, following your own breath. As slowly or as quickly as your body needs this morning. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Just One more time, inhaling and exhaling. Awesome. Back to that neutral spine position. Let's bring our big toes together, take the knees wide across the mat. Hips go back and hands go forward. First child's pose this morning. So child's pose is a great opportunity to bring that attention and awareness and focus inward. It also helps to open the hips, releases the low back, stretches the quads, stretches the ankles. Good. So stay here a few breaths. Again, just allowing yourself a moment or two to find that quiet space within. And then when you're ready, let's come up, keeping the hands a little bit forward. So we had our hands extended forward in our child's pose. So let's keep them a little bit forward of our shoulders so that as we inhale, coming into our modified plank, when we arrive at the end of that movement, the wrists are right under the shoulders. Let's bring our heart through our arms and tuck our elbows in snug to our bodies. Hinge at the elbows, lowering ourselves down with control. And let's come into our first back bend, our Sphinx pose. So elbows right underneath the shoulders, fingers are spread out nice and wide. Take a moment to find the tops of your feet, press into the tops of the feet to activate the legs. Now note that the core muscles are engaged so that belly button is in and up. And now when you're ready, think about bringing your elbows towards your hips and let your heart move just a little bit more forward, coming into just a slightly deeper back bend. So stay aware of sensation in your body, noting that the changes to find steadiness and ease might be just little tiny movements. It might be a backing away instead of a moving deeper. So notice what is present in your own body this morning and what are the thoughts that arise. And breathing here in our Sphinx pose. And as we exhale, we'll lower all the way down. We'll slide our hands right by the bottom of our ribs. Again, tucking those elbows in close to the body. Take a nice deep inhale. On the exhale, all the way back into child's pose. Feel that beautiful stretch from your fingertips to your hips. Good. Again, look at your hands. We're going to inhale, coming forward in that modified plank. Slide the heart through the arms. Tuck the elbows in tight. With control, lower down. And then we're going to take our arms out wide as we move into our next little back bend. So this is one of my new favorites. Tense your fingers out to the sides. Arms extend like wings. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Gaze a little bit forward. Press into the toes and the tops of your feet. Now lift your forehead and your chest. Nice little back bend. Feel the strength on the back side of your body here. Awesome. Now slide your hands back in, right where the bottom of your rib cage is, still holding our little back bend. Now we've moved into Cobra Pose. So gazing forward. Notice that if you move your hands, you don't lose the posture. You're holding yourself here with the strength of your back muscles as you stretch the muscles on the front side of your body. Now together, nice deep inhale. And exhale, child's pose. And once again, big stretch here. Release those hips back towards the heels. And try to actively reach your fingers forward. So tiptoe the fingers a little bit forward without moving your hips. Awesome. Now one more time. Look at your hands. Follow your breath. Inhale, come forward. Tuck the elbows. Exhale, lower down with control. Keep the hands where they are. Inhale, lift the forehead and the chest, Cobra Pose. And on your next exhale, child's pose. And a big, beautiful stretch. Good. Now look at your hands. Come to your knees. Go ahead, curl your toes. Lift your knees and take your hips up and down, up and back for downward facing dog. So notice that
we are working at finding the way that the pose fits in our body, not the way that our body necessarily fits into the pose. So be attentive to your own body in this moment. The essence of the pose is to get a stretch along the back of the body as we're strengthening the muscles on the front of the body. So spread your fingers out wide, push your mat forward as you lean back into your hips and your thighs, but keep everything as relaxed and loose as possible in your neck and your shoulders. The knees can be as bent as you need them to be. You can shift the hips side to side if that feels good. Again, intuitively finding your way into the posture and getting to know how it fits in your own body this morning. Breathing, inhaling and exhaling. Awesome. Let's look at our hands and walk our feet to meet our hands, top of our mat. We're going to go ahead and soften those knees, fold into our forward fold. So belly resting on the thighs, knees are a little bit soft, hips are more or less on top of the heels so you feel really balanced front to back on the feet. Gently turning the head here side to side. Think about just letting that body spill forward. So relax. Relax in the neck, relax in the shoulders, like you're just dropping that tension away off the back side of the body. Beautiful stretch in the calves, in the hamstrings. Gentle release in the low back. Look for the experience. Place your hands on your shins here, looking forward, flattening the back. Shoulders away from the ears. Crown of the head is forward, tailbone is back. Again, there's a little softness in the knees. We're not locking those knees out. We have softness. The muscles are engaged in the quads as we stretch those hamstrings out a little bit. Good. On your exhale, fold it out, forward fold. We're going to heel toe our feet out a little bit wider on our mat. And we're going to bring our right hand to the center in between our feet. We're going to bend our right knee deeply and bring our left hand onto our left hip, moving into a twist here. So as you look at that right knee, it tracks towards the toes. We don't allow that knee to roll into the center of our mat. We want to keep nice alignment, knee and ankle, but the knee is moving towards the toes forward. And as we bend that knee, we can come into a twist. So maybe that left hand stays on our left hip. Maybe that left hand reaches to the sky, if that feels all right. Go ahead and soften both knees as you come back to center, and let that body move and shift. Tuck the chin, release the head, the neck, the shoulders, and let's move to the other side. So slide that left hand in between your feet, bend deeply into your left knee, right hand comes to your right hip, and you rotate that body to the right. If you come all the way around, then maybe you lift that right arm up, pressing down through the left fingertips, reaching up through the right fingertips, and then softening the knees, exhaling for forward fold. Slide your hands up your shins, inhale, half lift, exhale, forward fold. Let's heel toe those feet in just a little bit. Take a deep bend in the knees, inhale, rise all the way up, and exhale, bring your hands to our heart center. And come to the top of our mat for our mountain pose. So find a nice tall position, nice strong, proud position in your mountain pose. Knees on top of the ankles, hips on top of the knees. Lifting the shoulders up, rolling the shoulders back and down, pressing down through the feet, but lengthening up through the crown of the head. Maybe turning the palms of the hands forward and the thumbs slightly back, just to let that heart come forward. So watch the rib cage, that as we do that little bit of a draw on the back side of our body, that we don't then jut the rib cage forward. So stay contracted in your core. Think about your lower ribs and your hips coming together without rounding through that thoracic spine. So lots going on in our mountain pose, but feel the strength and the power in the posture. Feel the sense of being equally balanced side to side. Good, let's take a nice deep breath. Let that breath move up the front side of the body. Inhaling, exhaling down the back side of the body. One more time, inhaling and exhaling.
Beautiful. A couple of sun salutations to wake up that body together. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, softening the knees, forward fold. Hands on our shins, inhaling, looking forward. Exhaling, forward fold. Deep bend in the knees. Right foot back, low lunge. Left foot downward facing dog. As we inhale, we come forward in our plank. It might be modified this morning. Come forward, lower down. Inhaling, lifting up to Cobra. Maybe upward facing dog if we're feeling warm and strong. And then the toes, lifting the hips for downward facing dog. Let's walk or step to the top of our mat. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend those knees. Inhale, rise up. Maybe a little back bend up here. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Good. Let's do that again. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, forward fold, softening the knees. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bending the knees, left foot back, low lunge, right foot downward facing dog. On your inhale, coming forward in your plank. On your exhale, lowering down. Inhaling your up pose, Cobra or upward facing dog. And exhaling, downward facing dog. Walking or stepping to the top of our mat, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. Bend those knees. Inhale, rise up, little back bend at the top. Exhale, hands to our heart. Beautiful. Inhale, rise up. Let's take our hands behind our back for chest expansion. Finding ways to open up the front side of the body. Brings a little bit more energy into the body. A little bit of a back bend here. A little bit of a chest expansion. Opening up. Very nice. Now think about, consider, would it be all right to bend the knees, bring the belly onto the thighs, lift the hips, and drop the head? Again, thinking about releasing tension, not building up extra tension, but releasing tension. So if it doesn't feel good, change the posture. Find steadiness and ease in the body and with the breath. Good. One more breath here. Now let's bring our hands behind our thighs, behind our calves, towards our heels. Maybe hug ourselves just a little bit deeper into that forward fold. If that feels all right. And then hands on the shins, half lift. Inhale. And exhale, forward fold, bend the knees. Good. We're going to step that right foot back. And we're going to set up for a warrior two here. So we're going to set that back foot down and angle it at about 30 degrees. We're going to slowly come up. We're going to bring one hand onto that front thigh and the other, and then we're going to press ourselves up so that the torso lands on top of the hips. So shoulders are on top of the hips, midline of the body is going to stay at center. Let's float those arms to shoulder height, turn the palms of the hands over, roll those shoulders back and down, and turn the palms of the hands back. Now gaze forward, pass the middle finger on the left hand. Feel very much like you're pulling the mat in two directions and you're reaching forward and back without moving the body. Awesome. I like to add a little bit of breath now. So turn the palms over, inhale. So we're going to straighten the front leg. We're going to look up and exhale. We're going to come back to warrior two. Inhale, lift up, look up, straighten that front leg. Exhale, warrior two. One more time, inhale, look up, exhale, warrior two. Beautiful. Keeping your left hand forward, bring your right hand to meet it. I want you to think about a bow and arrow now. So drawing that bowstring across the body till the right hand reaches all the way back. Good. Sweep that right hand forward, draw that bowstring across the body, reach all the way back. One more time. Draw that bowstring across the body, reach all the way back. Awesome. Turn that front hand over. Let's just reverse that warrior down. Opening up through those ribs, looking up. And on the exhale, warrior two. Let's bring our hands to our hips, straighten our front leg, and turn our toes forward. So we come into a straddle position, facing the long side of our mat. I'm gonna move my feet in just a little bit. We're gonna move through moonflowers, which are awesome for our back muscles. So turn your toes out a little bit, kind of like the toes are pointing towards the corners of your mat. Come into 5-point star. So energetically reach through the fingers, reach up through the crown of the head, and feel the sensation of the feet touching the mat. So a big inhale here, and as we exhale, bring those elbows towards the rib cage, like a lat pull down. Inhale up, and exhale down. Moonflowers. Good. Inhale up, and exhale down. One last time. Inhale up, and exhale down. Awesome. Now hold right here. Go ahead and stretch those arms out, palms of the hands facing the ceiling. Roll those shoulders back and down. Beautiful job. Hold, hold, hold. Inhaling up, exhaling, bringing your hands to your heart, hands on your hips, and turn your toes forward. From here, think about lengthening up through the crown of your head, keeping your core engaged, hinging at your hips, bringing your body down, bringing that torso down. So hands coming underneath the shoulders for our half lift, just like we would if in a regular forward fold, reaching forward with the crown of the head, reaching back with the tailbone. Turn that head side to side, keep everything relaxed and loose. One more breath, and then fold that all the way out. Soften the knees, heel toe in a tiny bit more, and walk your fingers around your forward foot. And we're gonna set up for Warrior Two at the opposite side of our mat. So again, we're blading that back foot at about 30 degrees. We're gonna bring one hand and then the other hand onto that thigh. Gently draw the torso up, so shoulders are on top of the hips. Midline of the body staying at center. Now float those arms to shoulder height. Turn the palms over, roll those shoulders back, and turn the palms back down. Sink into that pose. Feel that dynamic tension. Beautiful. All right, let's add in the breath. So we're gonna inhale, straighten the front leg, look up. Exhale, Warrior Two. Inhale, look up. Exhale, Warrior Two. One more time. Inhale, look up. Exhale, Warrior Two. Beautiful. Bring that left hand to meet the right. Find your bowstring, draw it across your body, reach it back. Left hand to meet the right. Draw it across the body, reach it back. One more time. Pull that bowstring gently towards the back of the room. Turn the front hand over and reverse your warrior. Look up. Exhale back, Warrior Two. Very nice. Bring your hands onto your hips. Straighten that front leg. Turn the toes. Heel toe in a tiny bit. We're back to our straddle pose. Let's come back to those moonflowers. Find your 5-point star. Shoulders rolled back and down. Spread those fingers out. Take a big inhale here. Exhale. Moonflower. Inhale up and exhale down. Good. Inhale up and exhale down and hold. And then take those hands out. Again, palms of the hands up towards the ceiling. Shoulders back and down. Awesome. Breathe and hold. And then inhale up. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Rest your hands on your hips and turn your toes forward. Tuck your tummy. Hinge at the hips as you come down into that half lift. Drawing the crown of the head forward. Shoulders back. The tailbone back. And then softening those knees. Walk the hands in a little bit. Heel toe the feet in a little bit. Walk your fingers around your forward foot. From this low lunge position, stepping back into our downward facing dog now. So a little bit of time here, again, thinking about getting to know this pose because it's a beautiful stretch. For the whole back side of the body, it works to strengthen the whole front side of the body. Good, breathe in through the nose and out. We'll try a little experiment for our hips.
do kind of like this particular movement, but we'll see how easy it translates. So from your downward facing dog, bend your knees, step your right foot behind your left foot, okay? So you're gonna bend and bring the knees to the mat. You'll notice that the knees are crossed now. So shift back into a version of child's pose. You're gonna find a stretch on the outside of that right hip, or that's my hope anyway. So crossing the thighs into a version of cow-face legs, kind of a variation of a child's pose here. I'm gonna stay just for a moment or two longer. Inhaling and exhaling. Now we have to think about how to get out of this particular position. All right, shift forward, unwind the legs, tabletop position. From tabletop position, curling the toes, lifting the knees, downward facing dog. Get a moment or two lifting and lowering those heels, shifting the hips side to side, exploring the posture. Now let's change sides. So you're on the balls of your feet and you've softly bent your knees. Step your left foot now behind your right foot. Bend the knees more until the knees come to the mat, and then shift the hips back. Ooh, notice if one side is a little different than the other side. Again, just with staying in that idea of accepting whatever arises in each moment, without any judgment, without any expectation. Good, just a moment or two more here. And then slowly coming back, unwinding, making our way into our tabletop position. Again, moving through cat and cow just to loosen up that spine. Inhaling, looking up, exhaling, tucking and rounding. Good, a couple more times. Inhaling, looking up, and exhaling, tucking and rounding. Awesome. From here, let's make our way back to downward facing dog, curling the toes, lifting the knees, hips up and back. So we're going to look at our hands, and we're going to bring our hands to the center of our mat so that the thumbs are touching. We're going to bend our knees, we're going to tuck our tummy, and we're going to bring our right foot on the outside of our right wrist. We're going to bring that left knee down and come into lizard pose. So lizard pose is a great opportunity to stretch that inner thigh. I'm going to point my toes, I'm going to point my toes out towards the corner of my mat. I'm going to take my left hand off the edge of my mat and my right hand onto my right inner thigh. Soften my shoulders and apply just a little bit of pressure to open that right hip. So be mindful of the shoulders relaxing, the spine staying long, the neck staying in alignment with the spine. So the gaze can be to the side, the gaze could be up. Again, just noting sensation in your own body here. Is this a good posture for you? Perhaps you need to change the posture, change the shape. Adapt and accept in the moment. Breathe. And as we release, bring our hands back to the center. Heel toe that right foot back. Curl the toe on the left, lift the knee, step that right foot to the back of the mat. Again, downward facing dog. Maybe shaking things out a little bit or shifting the hips side to side a little bit. Definitely breathing deeply. Now looking at the hands, bring the hands to center so that the tips of the thumbs touch. And you're going to take that left foot, step it on the outside of that left wrist, and bring that right knee down this time. I'm going to take my right hand off the right edge of my mat, left hand onto my left thigh, turn my toes to point towards the corner, roll the shoulders back but lengthen the spine. It's like you're peeling your torso
away from your left thigh. Without losing the alignment in the body, you still have lots of length in the spine. Neck stays in line. It's okay to look up if it feels okay for the neck, but look to the side or look down if that's better. Awesome. Let's bring our hands back to center. Heel toe that left foot back. Curl the toe, lift the knee on the right, and step back again to your downward facing dog. From that downward facing dog, inhale coming forward in our plank, full or modified. With control, lower all the way down. We're going to do a little stretch for our shoulders now. So come up into Sphinx pose just for a moment. Take your left arm and weave it underneath your body. And take your right arm and reach it forward. So again, now you're stretching in that left shoulder, in the delt, top of the left shoulder. So we still want to keep space between our ear and our shoulder. That right arm reaches forward. And now just let your body relax. So try not to hold on to anything right now. Let the gaze be soft or the eyes be closed, and let's take the breaths here. Time, patience, gravity. Inhaling and exhaling. Very nice. All right, slide that right hand back. Press yourself up. Maybe reach that left arm wide to the side. Right arm out to the right side. We're going to change our stretch now. So, making a T shape with our arms, you're going to take your left hand, slide it towards your body, coming onto that right hip, and step that left leg back behind you. Not going to stay very long. Opening up that right shoulder. And slowly come back to center. All the way back, finding that T shape again with the body. I maybe should have done the left side first, so I'd face the camera. All right, now let's come back into that Sphinx pose. And from Sphinx pose, we're going to do that shoulder stretch. So you're going to take your right arm, weave it underneath your body, and extend that left arm forward. So note sensation, note tension, tightness in the shoulder, in the neck. Remember, we're not looking for pain. A little bit of discomfort is okay. So can you match the resistance with your breath? And does it feel like it's a good idea to stay here? Or would it be a better idea to change something about the posture? Let the whole body relax as you find that stretch in that right shoulder. Slowly bring that left hand in, press yourself up, unwind, reach the arms out wide, making a T shape with your body. Okay, so would have been good if I had done it this way first. So the arms are going to stay wide. You're going to slide your right hand towards your body as you roll onto your left hip, and your right leg is going to come up and behind. A very nice stretch in that left shoulder, but know that it is intense. So if it doesn't feel good, then you shouldn't stay. Always
making the choice based on your own experience, listening to your own body. Anything I say is simply a suggestion. Good, and we're going to unwind from that, rolling back onto our bellies, finding that T shape, sliding the hands in close to the bottom of the ribs, inhaling now, and then exhaling all the way back into child's pose. As you lift your head, slide your hands towards your knees, drop down onto your hip, and sweep your legs forward. I'm going to come back to the center of my mat. And sitting up nice and tall, finding that foundation, your sit bones, knowing that the integrity of every posture comes from the foundation. So really notice your sit bones resting on the mat. And let's bring our hands onto the backs of our thighs. Lift our shoulders up, roll our shoulders back and down. Tuck our tummy in and bring our belly or our tummy to rest on our thighs. So without losing the length in our spine, start to ease our heels forward. Explore that seated forward fold so you know that you can keep as much bend in your knees as you need. Note the tension in the hamstrings and the calves. Hands can stay here or the hands can slide towards the feet. Again, just staying with a space of awareness, observation, acceptance. Good. Now keeping that chin tucked and that tummy tucked, slowly sitting up tall. Roll those shoulders up, back and down. And let's take time for a little twist before we come down onto our backs. So keeping that right leg extended, bring that left foot in, sole of the foot resting on the floor. The foot can be nice and close to the thigh, but it can be a little bit wider. One more twist as we reset the body and prepare for that final relaxation. Wrap that right arm around the thigh, left hand behind the back. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to turn. As you come into this twist now, think back to where you started your practice this morning. Hopefully there's been a shift in your body, in your mind, and in your spirit. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rotate to center. Switch it up. And making sure that we're flexing that left foot. Right foot can be close to the inner thigh, or it can move a little bit away. Shoulders back and down. Wrap. Opposite hand behind the back. Inhale, and then exhale with the turn. And explore that shift in perspective as you gaze towards the side or perhaps towards the space behind you. Good. Inhaling up and exhaling back. Give yourself a little hug, round out your spine before we come down onto our backs. And take your time, nice and slow, nice and gentle as you roll down, gently bringing the knees into the chest. Rocking around a little bit, taking care of any last little bit of tension in that low back. Again, if you've lost the focus on your breath, then simply reconnect. Find the breath again, lower the feet, bridge pose, walk the fingers towards the heels towards the fingertips, tuck the tummy, inhale and lift and stretch. Exhale, slowly release. Inhale and lift, stretching that front body. Exhale and release. This time, inhale, let's lift and hold, gazing up towards the ceiling. Just a few breaths. One final stretch for the front side of your body. Gently and slowly bring the hips back down. Gather the knees to the chest. Set those feet down, open the arms wide, heel toe the feet wide, drop the knees to the right and just let them stay. Shift your gaze to the left for a few breaths. the knees up to center, inhaling, exhaling, knees to the left, shifting the gaze to the right. Let gravity take over. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. And slowly bring those knees back up to center. I'm going to lower my hands by my sides. Soles of the feet together, perhaps letting those knees drop open for reclined bound angle. Maybe just lift the hips up for a moment, tuck that tailbone in, feel the low back come to rest on the mat. Tuck those shoulder blades under the back, and again, let your body sink into the support of the mat and the earth beneath you. Return your awareness to your breathing. Noticing the 4 parts of the breath, the inhalation, the pause at the end of the inhalation, the exhalation, and the pause at the end of the exhalation. And for just a few rounds of breath, simply notice that. If you make any changes to your final relaxation, perhaps you want to stay in your reclined bound angle, perhaps you want to move into Shavasana, extending those legs out and fully reclining on your mat. Maybe you want to move into legs up the walls. So totally up to you for sure. Listening to your own body and making that intuitive decision to follow what you need right now. And in this time, in this space, unwind all effort. Let your mind be drawn a little bit more outward. Remain aware of your breathing, perhaps even aware of the surroundings, the room you were in. Perhaps the temperature of the air that surrounds your body. Simply give yourself a few moments this morning to rest and to receive the benefits of this practice so that you have the resources to move forward into the rest of your day. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. So wherever you are this morning, and however you are finding your way into that final relaxation, go ahead and stay there as long as you need. I would just like to thank you once again for joining me this morning, for taking the time to create some space in your body with your breath. I will breathe for all of us as we finish our practice together. Inhaling up, exhaling hands to heart center. Thank you for joining me this morning.